$76 an hour. Now, that is what I will make by the end of this year without putting in any more effort. I just did a pop-up shop completely alone by myself, and I did $810 in sales. But the place that I did the pop-up market at took a very large percentage of that. Today I want to go over what I made at the fall market hourly, what I made at the fall market plus the pop-up market hourly, and then what the potential of my hourly income is going to be by the end of the year based on all the products that I left at the store that they're just going to be selling for me that I don't have to think about or touch. I just go pick up a check at the end of every single month. We got a lot to cover, so first let's go ahead and talk about the actual pop-up market itself. Pop-up market. Okay, so the pop-up market is completely different than the fall market that I did previously. The fall market ended up having around 3,000 visitors and it was a large public event. The pop-up market was just curated for the people who show up at this store specifically. This is Pine and Pigment. That is where I sell a bunch of my stuff here in town. The ladies there are incredible. Huge shout out to Stephanie and Kim. Y'all made the day awesome. So at the Pine and Pigment pop-up, I did $810 in sales. And that is because I was charging a little bit more per item at the Pine and Pigment pop-up. Now, the reason that I did that is because Pine and Pigment takes a percentage of all the sales. Now, you might be wondering, whoa, that just changes the game completely. That percentage of sales can play a big role. I've got a relationship with this business. I would like to keep my products in there, and I don't want to make anybody mad. So in order to talk about the percentage that they did, I'm just going to give it a flat rate of 30% that they're taking. Some places you can find might do 20%. I found that one of the larger standards around the area is actually 50%. So no matter if you're making a grill scraper, selling it for $20 and you've got $4 in that, they're taking $10 and you're making $6 off of that. So for this entire calculation, I'm going to be basing all of this off of 30% that the store is taking as their cut. Now, the sales went really well. Whiskey smokers blew everything else out of the water. Now, I sold one of the bread bow knives at $30. I sold 3 of the boards. Those are at $45 a piece. I sold 2 of the coffee clips. That was at $15 a piece. I sold 5 grill scrapers. Those were at $20 a piece. I sold 1 salt cellar at $20 a piece. Unfortunately, the salt cellars just haven't done what I thought that they would, and that just makes me super sad. I sold 1 trivet at $20 a piece, and then I sold 14 whiskey smokers at $25 a piece, whereas at the fall market, I sold them for $20 a piece, and I sold, I think, 35 of them. So I sold less than half of the amount, but I did sell them for $5 more. I also ran a little sale on them, so it was 1 for $25, or you can buy 4 for $75. So essentially you buy 3, you get 1 free. And one person ended up doing that, and that worked out really well. And I did have a few people that were really considering it. I probably should have done the deal based on buy 3 and get a discount. I don't know. That's a thought for next time. So all of those sales equaled up to $810 in sales. Now that $810 in sales afterwards, if you take off the 30% that we're using to calculate all of this, that leaves me with $567. Now I'm just going to be taking off $150 for all the material involved in that, which leaves us $415 of actual profit that we are putting in our pocket for that day. Now let's go ahead and jump into the much bigger portion of how much we made at the fall market, and then the fall market plus the Pine and Pigment market, and then the fall market plus the Pine and Pigment market plus the amount of consignment stuff that I left in that store that still has the potential to sell through the rest of the year. I spent 30 hours creating all these products. I spent 12 hours at the fall market, and then I spent 6 hours here at this pop-up market. Let's go back to the previous video real quick, and we're just going to be talking about the market itself and how much money we made off of that. If we've got 42 hours, 30 hours in creating the product, 12 hours in actually being at the event, we did $1,200 in actual profit based off of our last video, and then somebody got in touch with me and actually purchased another 7 sets of the bread bow knife and the board itself. And then after all of the cost associated with that, that's $350 on top of the $1,200 that I am attributing to the actual market itself, making $1,550 divided by 42 hours. That leaves us with around $36 an hour. But we were left over with a ton of extra product that also has costs associated with it when it concerns material and time that we spent on that. But we're already counting all that time previously. Now, if we go to the Pine and Pigment market, I did $810 in sales, and out of that $810 in sales, we're saying that they took 30% of all of that, leaves us with $567. Once we take off all the material that we spent in order to make those sales for those specific items, we ended up with $415. That is profit. Now, that $415 If we add that to what we already made, that leaves us with $1,965 with an extra 6 hours attached to it from this market itself. So we divide that $1,965 by 48 hours, and that leaves us with $41 an hour. That is what I have made so far, $41 an hour. So we left $2,880 worth of product at that store. Now, if we take off 30% of that, that is $2,016 that we can actually make out of all of those sales. Now, the leftover amount of materials that we have in everything at that store is $400, which leaves us a possible profit of $1,600 that is just sitting there. I'm not having to do anything in order to make those sales. I think we're going to be selling about half of that. So divided by 2, that leaves us $800 in profit that I think that I'm going to be getting. Hopefully I'm going to be surprised, and I'm going to have all the details to how much money I really made at the end of the year based on this pop-up market in a video in January when I talk about how much my YouTube channel made over the course of 2022, everything involving all the details about that. So that $800 we're going to be adding to the market and pine and pigment sales, and then half of all the consignment sales. That it leaves us $2,765 in profit over the course of 48 hours that we spent doing all this. That leaves us with $57 an hour. But if 100% of everything that I left at that store sold, all of the profit involved with all of the other markets, that would leave me $3,565 over the course of 48 hours, leaves me with $74 an hour. If you were to look at the amount of attendance at the Pine and Pigment pop-up, say that 3 times fast. If you were to look at that, it was probably around 300 people. I got a lot more sales percentage-wise off of those 300 people than I did the 3,000 people. The 300 people that showed up specifically because they knew that there was going to be a sale that day and there was going to be an event. There's another lady pouring candles. If you're interested in those candles, here you go. You can go and check them out. But I was outside. I had set up a tent, and I was selling my stuff that way. It actually rained on me a little bit. I had to move some product around. Thankfully, it didn't rain for too long. I was by myself. I didn't have Trish, but I did have a tactic where I was just setting things up, and I had my whiskey smoker going. Every single time I lit up that whiskey smoker, people wanted the sale. The other nice thing about Pine and Pigment was they were doing social media posts throughout the week leading up to it to hype up their customers, because they have a very loyal customer base who love seeing new products come into the store. And a lot of people got out of the car and said, I'm here to buy a whiskey smoker. They already knew everything about it. They knew what it did. They had seen some of my Instagram posts, and they just wanted to be able to purchase that item. Now, I think social media plays a huge part into things, and you might say, well, Hamilton, you've got a YouTube channel and these followers, blah, blah, blah. I think regardless of what you're selling, you should be posting things online, because I'm very interested to see later when I leave all these products at Pine and Pigment if those whiskey smokers sell at all, because it was very clear that showing how it works is what sold it. So I'm going to have to create some type of a PDF to print off and have like a picture next to it so that hopefully people will understand what it does and still purchase that item. Would I do all this again? So right now I'm sitting at having made $41 an hour. I don't know if the rest of those products are going to sell. I've got a very, very good idea that they're going to sell, but would I do all of this over again? And the answer is yes. So the last video I didn't include the hourly rate because I didn't know what the hourly rate was going to end up being. So all the people in the comments who were less than pleased that the $1,200 profit didn't have any meaning to it, I hope that me breaking this down gave you a little bit more of an understanding. Now, there's always going to be people who want me to break down the exact cost of the gas that I used in my car, the wear and tear on my vehicle, the fact that this shop is on my property and is a part of my mortgage, the electricity bill that's included in it, the jacket that I had to purchase in order to be able to work in the shop because it was getting so cold because I don't have HVAC, all of the little factors that are included, including how much I pay myself in order to go to the bathroom every single day. I'm not doing any of that. It took me 30 hours in order to be able to create all those items. It took me 12 hours to be able to be at that sale that day, and then it took me 6 hours to be at the Pine and Pigment pop-up sale, which leaves me at 48 hours of work for all of the products that I have and all of the profit that is associated with it. These 12 days of Makemas are coming so soon. I haven't even started making the files. But December 1st, we're going to be starting day 1 of 12 days where we're going to be making some Christmas themed projects. I've got a lot of awesome stuff in store and I'm very excited about it. Plus, we're going to be doing some awesome giveaways at the very end of that through a live giveaway. So please subscribe down below because we're giving away some pretty awesome stuff just like last time. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see y'all soon. Bye.